All right, Paws podcast episode 31, first one in person, as you could see. We are here with FIU Football tight end Jackson McDonald, but before we get into that, we're here with Jonny, with Jake, my co-host. Jake, what's up? I'm excited to do this again.
Man, what a location to be doing this, live at the FIU Football Stadium. It's just cool to do an episode of the podcast here. It's just something we've never done before, and hopefully maybe this can be a trend moving forward, and we have a cool as hell guest to start this off with.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Alrighty, let's get it going. Jackson, obviously you're from the Keys. Talk to us what football was like down there, the scenery down in the Keys.
I knew I was going to get this. So, Keys football, man. So, pretty much just like, I don't know what you would honestly think of an island in the middle of the ocean, football to be like. So, pretty much I grew up. There was one league. Here, I'll grab this. I got you. There was one real league in the Florida Keys, and that was about an hour away. So I'm obviously very grateful. My parents would drive me every day to go. I grew up and I went to a school called Sugarloaf. It's right in the middle of the Keys, Sugarloaf Key. They call it like Lower Keys, but it's really like in the middle. And we played in the league in Key West. So I went to Sugarloaf Middle School, and I grew up playing Little League football in Key West. So yeah, man, it was pretty crazy. Not a lot of guys know too much about football down there, so we were kind of just all winging it. Might have been taught to use my head a few times to hit, but I mean, it just made me the man that I am today. I'm forever grateful. Yeah, man, nothing really else much about the Keys football, but just very, very crazy. Like not too many good coaching down, not too much good coaches down there, but they got the job done, and I'm grateful for everybody that helped me out.
Obviously, I think you mentioned this on Instagram that the Keys are better than Miami, so take us through that thought process.
So, Florida Keys is better than Miami for a plethora of reasons. The first reason being, since the Keys is so small, everybody's kind of just nice to you down there. Like, everybody's got just a happy-go-lucky mentality. They're living on an island. They can walk a few feet and go to the beach. So everyone's just nice down there. I feel like in Miami, I'll be going through Walmart and somebody will cuss me out in Spanish, and I'll just have a bad day based off of that. But other than that, it's just really beautiful, man. The weather is somehow even better than Miami down there. I don't know how, but it is. And I don't know, just people are just really nice down there.
So let's talk a bit about your time at Marathon High School, because of course you weren't a tight end then. You were actually a quarterback. So first thing I got to know, were you a lefty or a righty when throwing the ball?
I was a righty. I wasn't like lights out. I was a righty.
So just take us through your time as a quarterback with Marathon High. If you had to pick out your best stat line during your time in high school, what would that look like?
Best stat line. Okay, I have two, because it's kind of funny. So the first one was actually on defense. Mm-hmm. It was my senior year. Hurricane Irma hit my junior year, sophomore year. So a bunch of guys, they weren't playing on the team anymore. So we had kind of a smaller team. But yeah, it was my senior year, and it was a preseason game against Pompano Beach. Shout out Dayton Montiel, Pompano Beach. Mm-hmm. And we came in, and they were running like double wing, triple options, and I was playing the Mike linebacker at the time. I was playing quarterback and Mike linebacker, and I had watched a good amount of film, and I knew what they were going to do, so I was in the right spot at the right time the majority of the game, and we were both running teams, so there were a lot of tackles to be had by the backers, and I ended up getting literally 35 or 40 tackles. We didn't have an official stat keeper, but when I went back and watched film, our film was actually really bad. We didn't have the best people to film it, to be honest. We were lucky if we had a student offer to do it. But when we went back and watched film, it was 35 or 40 tackles, so that was a little ridiculous. We didn't end up winning that game, so it doesn't even matter. But then offense, we played a school, Ransom Everglades. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. It's okay, you know Ransom Everglades. Not big fans of those people over there. Not the biggest fan. That was one of my rivals in high school. We played at home. It was after the hurricane hit. We played at the community park, not even our high school field. And, the guys were just so excited to play football. And, I was playing quarterback at the time, and I literally was just, picking guys to throw a touchdown to. Just because, we had a bunch of seniors who haven't caught a touchdown. I was like, let's go. This guy's getting it. This guy's getting it. And after the first half, I literally had 5 passing touchdowns. And I was like, all right. I was like, wow, I'm going to go break a record. I'm going to go do this, and that. And my dad was actually the offensive line coach at the time. And we ended up, just running the clock out and stuff. But it was a fun game. Definitely those are probably my 2 best games in high school. They were super fun.
When you talk about your time at Marathon High, you played tons of sports. Baseball, basketball, football. You think you averaged 10 rebounds a game in basketball, if I'm correct.
I like this question. I miss my days of basketball, man. I appreciate you bringing that up.
I'll do sports. Talk about your time with basketball, and then also what made you want to stick with football into college.
Dude, I'm so happy you brought this question up because I love talking about basketball. Basketball actually was never a big thing down there. And I don't know, it was like my age group of guys. We loved basketball. We would play every day in gym class. We would be the biggest, like, you thought it was NBA Finals in gym class. We would go to the park every day. We would play so much basketball, and it got to a point where we started to become 7th, 8th, 9th graders, and we were like, wow, like, because I ended up moving to Marathon like my 7th grade year. So we just got to a point where we were like pretty good. So and then my senior year, I ended up averaging like 16 or 17 points and like 10 or 11 rebounds, a couple blocks, a couple steals. Basketball was the best, man. But honestly, why I chose football was just, I think everyone's got those hoop dreams. Like, I want to go play in the NBA. I want to be Steph Curry, all that. But for me, I just knew my only option was football to get out of the Keys. Because, I was a smarter kid, but I will not. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Towards the end of my high school career, I kind of messed around a little bit. Yeah, you got it. You hit it. Yeah, exactly. So I kind of knew football was my only way out. I started to get some interest from like smaller FCS schools, and ended up just coming here and taking a shot as a walk-on, and worked out. But I'm sure we'll talk about that later.
I think that's where we're gonna go right
Okay.
into. Obviously, you come to FIU. You didn't play I believe you didn't play too much tight end in high school. Just what was that transition for you like? And obviously, obviously the recruiting. It was a different different personnel that recruited you at the time. Just talk to us about that as well.
Okay, so this is a big question. So pretty much, here, I'll get closer to the mic. Pretty much, for me, it was very new getting to college, because what I thought of college was completely different than what it was when I got there. So I go to school at Marathon High School. Mm-hmm. Not many people go to school. If they do, they go to like FSU or UF, and they don't really come back because they love it more than the Keys. Because when you're younger, the Keys is whatever. It's more of an older person place. So I don't really know much about college. I don't have many older friends. All my friends are in my grade. So it's kind of just like, I don't know what it is. It seems like some great place. It seems like I could just walk on and play. And it was completely different. So I ended up just playing quarterback. I played little defense, so I had like the aggression, I guess. Played all the special teams. And like camps going into my senior year, a lot of schools would be like, hey, we don't want you at quarterback. We want you at tight end. Or we want you at defensive end or linebacker. And I was just like, it kind of like broke my heart. I was like, wow, I want to play quarterback. But it's all good, because at the end of the day, as a kid, I just really wanted to go play college football. Like, that was the coolest thing in the world to me. So when I got here, I talked to a guy named, I don't know if you guys remember his name, James Villano, Jimmy Villano. He was a special teams coordinator. He was the best. He came down to the Keys. He like met with me in school. I thought I was so cool. Everybody saw like FIU coach like coming to meet me. It was super cool. He told me, he was like, yeah, I'll give you a preferred walk-on spot and you could be on the team. And I was like, wow, I don't know what that is. I have no clue what a walk-on is, but sure, let's do it. Because I had, at the time, I had a few FCS offers. I had like, I forget what the league's called. It's called like the Patriot League or something. It's like Stetson, Marist, all those schools. Yeah. They don't give you much money. They can help you out with a little government money, but they don't really pay for your school. So I didn't really want to do that. I don't want to go spend a bunch of money. And then it ended up working out because I had bright futures in high school. It's like some Florida scholarship if you get good grades and whatever. So I wasn't that dumb. I had a little something. And fortunate enough for me, there's a lot of local scholarships in the Keys, and they helped me out a lot. And I was able to come here for about 2 years and not have to pay too much money. And it was the best option for me. So I ended up coming here. And what was the last part of the question? You said something about like what was it like
Just
getting here?
the transition for you going to tight end.
Okay, yes, the transition. So I'm getting to that. I got you. So honestly, like from quarterback to tight end was so crazy because when I got here, I don't know if you guys remember, in 2019, that team was projected to win the conference. James Morgan was projected to be Offensive Player of the Year, Sage Lewis, Defensive Player of the Year. We had all the hype in the CUSA. And I get here, and I'm like, wow. Like, these guys were like, veterans on the team. Like, the defense consisted of 2 NFL DBs and Stanley. You guys remember Stanley Thomas?
Thomas Oliver.
Carolina.
He's still the third. He's a stud. He looks like an action figure. He's out there at DB. I'm like, how are you a DB? Like, I'm playing in little 3A football and marathon, and the DBs are like 130 pounds. So I'm just like, I'm just bewildered. So we have him at DB. We have Ike Thomas. Is that his last name? Oh, no, Ike Brown. That's his last name. He was a DB. He's still in the league. I saw him playing in the preseason this year. Then we had Sage at middle linebacker. we had a bunch of outside backers that were really good. And then in the middle of the defensive line, we had Tier Tart. He's about to sign for a couple he's going to sign for a few $1 million this year. So, like, there were some big guys running around on the defense. And I got in. I was like 200 pounds. The transition was crazy because I'm 200 pounds. And they're like, yeah, you're going to play tight end for us, but, like, you're going to be long snapping too. And so when I first got here, they're like, yeah, you might long snap for us. You might. Like, I didn't really necessarily know I was going to do it, so I wasn't really practicing it or anything. And they just threw me in. First day of practice, I got not a single tight end rep, straight long snapping reps. And you know what? I'm grateful for it. It was humble beginnings, and I don't think I deserved a rep at the time. I was like 210 pounds first day of fall camp. But, I mean, it was crazy. I think it was the first – like, my snaps were all good. I had decent long snap reps. I'll give myself that. But it was like the first rep of, like, some special teams drill. And there was this guy, I think his name was Donovan Georges. D2 is what we called him. I'm actually friends with him now. He literally like came in. It was like a one-on-one kickoff return drill. I had to block him, and he was like 235 pounds. He had offers like Georgia and like all these SECs. He ended up at FIU. He literally came and like decleated me. It was horrible. And I remember watching in the special teams meeting, and the coach was like, this is a good rep. Villano's like, this is a great rep right here. Like, everybody needs to watch this, and you need to do what D2 did to young McDonald here. And they're just playing the rep over and over and over. And I guess that was my welcome to college football moment. And ever since that moment, really, I told myself, like, this can't happen to me. This is horrible embarrassment. I can't go through with it. I want to be on the other end of that. So, I mean, that kind of just transformed me in my character and everything, and I just wanted to be the best I could be, so I'm very grateful for that moment. But yeah, that transition was crazy.
You came in at 200, and what are you at right
now? I always joke with my coach, I'm like about in between 250 and 260. It depends. I was 260 before fall camp, but we run a lot.
Yeah,
it's hot out there. I'm sweating right now when we're inside. So yeah, dude, you guys understand how hot it can be. So yeah, I'm about 255 right now. So I'm feeling good. Just, yeah, man, I'm feeling pretty good at this. It feels a lot better running around at 255 than 200, I'll tell you that. Yeah.
One question I wanted to ask, talking about 2019, the freshman season, biggest win for the program against Miami. What was that experience like at the baseball stadium and getting to beat one of the,
yeah, trust me, it was very crazy. That's not Big Brother, that's Little Brother.
Yeah.
Make sure that's
now the Little Brother. Yeah.
No, 100%. No, that was it's all fun and games, man. But that was so fun, man, because like I grew up, I'm not afraid to admit it, I grew up watching the Hurricanes with my father. He grew up in Miami, so he went to all the games when they were really, really good. So I grew up watching them, and they were never really, really good, but I still had faith in them. And then I get to college, and my dad's been a Hurricane fan his whole life. But when I got to college, he said, you know what, I'm not a Cane fan anymore. I'm an FIU fan. So he got a bunch of shirts, and he was at every game. He's been at every home game since I've been in school, whether I was playing or not. And we go into the game, and we like, I think we just drove down and scored. It was like 7-0, and I was like, whoa, like we might win this game. Like I don't know, we'll see. And then we scored again. We got a few interceptions, and we go into the half and we're winning. I'm like, whoa, like are we about to win?
At the goal line.
Oh, yeah. Dude, Sage coming off the edge and just like leveling the court, dude. That was the craziest like experience ever. Like I can't even explain the feeling. I'm not even playing. I'm just on the sideline like hoping and like just like praying for these guys. Like please, can we win? And we ended up winning. And it was just the craziest thing ever. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. In the locker room after, like, everyone was just, like, screaming, crying. It's like we won the national championship. It was ridiculous. Like, the feeling that we had is probably the feeling that you have when you win a national championship. So it was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty.
It was celebrated like that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, to be able – and we haven't played UM since. I don't know what that is. I would love to play UM, but – yeah. I mean, just to be able to just tell people that, like, hey, like, no matter what happens in my college career, I am 1-0 against the Miami Hurricanes. So that's all that matters.
After that, I wanted to talk to you about you specifically. We heard, I think it was one of the videos. I forgot the question, but someone referred to you as Baby Gronk. That was Chance Coleman. I want to know, do you look up to Rob Gronkowski? I think you guys posted something with those words. I've never heard of that nickname. Chance Coleman, that's one of my good friends. He's great. Yeah. He's a great guy. That's funny he said that. Do you know what video that was?
That was in the Day of the Life of Jackson McDonald thing.
Okay.
Yes.
I gotta go back and watch that. That's funny. I slipped my head. I don't know. I know to be to be referred to as Baby Rob Gronkowski, that's a good thing.
Yeah, not the other. I know,
But not the other one. I
Yeah.
think we all know the social media personality that I'm talking about. That's not the
Baby Rob Gronkowski.
But no, I
Yeah.
definitely looked up to and watched a lot of film of Gronkowski.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, I just love how he plays. Like he just has that like dog in him, dude. Like he will block someone until that person's head is like in the dirt. He's the best, dude. And then he just runs around like a madman with the ball, and he just can't be tackled.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want to play like that guy? But no, that's interesting that he called me.
I believe it was actually in the comment section on Instagram
Okay.
on that video.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So something I always like to ask players who are on that 2020 team, of course, being the year of COVID and how that just changed college football that season. It was a crazy, wonky year. Just what was your experience having to battle through it like that?
I mean, I can't even really blame the coaches as much as I want to blame. Like, there's a lot of guys that didn't really want to play that year, and it was understandable. Like, we had no idea what was going on that year. It was an epidemic that's never occurred in anybody's lives that have been alive. It was just crazy. So like we hear this coronavirus is going around. No one's allowed out of the house, but we're allowed to practice and we're allowed to do this, but we got to get tested 3 times a week, and it was like this whole thing. I think every single game we were missing like 4 or 5 starters because of contact tracing. So basically how the contact tracing worked was, like I'm sure you guys know, but it was crazy for us. So like if you even lived with someone, or you were friends with someone who lived with someone who had corona, you were contact tracing. For at least a week you were out. Just like that. Even if you never tested positive. And the only way to get out was to test positive twice. And you know what? I am not a conspiracy theorist. But there was a lot of times where, like, I knew people who had hung out with people with corona and they would go test negative. And then there was also people who would, like, just be in their room on their own, just randomly test positive. And I'm just like, this person is like an introvert. He doesn't do anything. And how is he testing positive? And this guy, like, it was ridiculous. But if I could sum up the whole season in one word, I would just genuinely say it was ridiculous. There's nothing the coaches or players could have done. We were just down 5 or 6 starters every single game, and it really hurt us. But it was a crazy season. I remember we almost beat Liberty first game. We took the first kickoff back. I think after that feeling, I was like, whoa, like, first kickoff back, they're going to have a good year. But no, it was...
Was it Flex or was it Price?
It was Flex. It was Flex.
Okay,
Price had a great game that game, too.
Yeah.
I remember we were playing that quarterback that's in the league still. His name's like Malik.
Malik Willis.
Exactly,
Willis.
yeah. He was running all over us. He was good. And it was a close game, and I think it came down to like the end. Something happened. I don't even remember, but it was a good game. Yeah.
And one thing I want to ask you during that time, I think awesome one for you, because I saw the video, you and Reggie Peterson getting announced that you'll get full scholarship. Talk about that moment. I think it was down on the field over there.
Pretty
What was
awesome.
that like?
Yeah, 100%. I love that question. So, well, first on Reggie, he's just a great guy. He's always so positive all the time. He's a guy.
Great start to the season too.
Yeah, dude. I think he had like 11 or 12 tackles,
Yeah.
and he's just the kind of guy you want around. He's just always positive, always saying the right thing. He almost has too much energy. Like he doesn't drink caffeine or anything, and he's got more energy than me. I'm up here like dying to like open my eyes, like drinking coffee, trying to wake up, and he's just running around, jumping around. He's the best though. But that feeling was crazy, and to be able to share it with someone was even better. It was out of nowhere. I think that spring I had a really, really good spring. I didn't like drop a ball. I had gained 25, 30 pounds, like 230 at the time. I finally started to get some reps because guys got injured, and my coach Drew Davis was pushing me really, really hard, and ended up like I just kept making plays, and he kept putting me in, and like I think there were a few times where I wasn't supposed to get reps, and I just ran in and took the reps, and like I literally did everything I could in my power to get a scholarship, and everything aligned perfectly. And Butch Davis took a shot on me and gave me a scholarship, and I'm seriously forever grateful to that man for that, because like that's the number one thing that was my number one goal going to school. I'm like, look, I obviously want to win games, I obviously want to do all this stuff, but I don't want to have to like be in so much debt with student loans. I want to be able to be on scholarship. I want to get free food. I want to get money in my, like, all the whole nine. And I got it. And it was, to this day now, like, I don't know if it's the right thing to say, like, I'm just a dead man walking, like, but, like, I really am. Like, I really did what I had to do. And, like, if whatever happens now happens, you know? I did my number one goal. And if I go do whatever, I do whatever. And I'm happy no matter what. So it was a great moment. To share it with someone like Reggie, it made it even better.
Before we go into 2023, we do have to talk about the end of that Butch Davis era.
Okay.
Maybe
I got you.
Talk about it a little, but kind of a tumultuous end, you could say. I mean, what stories do you have, I guess, you had to like point out.
I got it. Let me
what
think,
do you have
man.
From that era. It could be Butch. It could be the former AD.
Yeah, I have a few. I think I have a few stories. So one story I'd like to share with Butch, not even off that topic, was just one of the craziest things I've ever seen in college football. So I had this friend, Eston Thiel. He was the kicker at the time, my freshman year. And we went and lost to FAU. And I remember that game in the locker room, Butch Davis was he was just fuming. Like he was so mad because we had players like turning around, like making gestures at the stands, talking to girls in the stands, doing all that. And my friend happened to be one of the guys that did it. And I remember to this day, he stood Eston Thiel up. He goes, we get back in that meeting, like it's like Sunday or Monday, one of those days right after the game. It's our first meeting back. He's like, Eston Thiel, stand up. And he was just like, he looked around at the whole room, and he's like, get your bags, get everything out of your locker, and get your ass out of my facility, and kicked him out of there. He's done, off the team, just like that. And I was like, wow. Like, but this guy doesn't play, and I was walking out at the time, so it kind of like scared me a little bit. But probably a crazy story from that last year was just like we knew. I think every single player knew the coaches were getting fired that year, and it was just like when it happened, like it happened so much later than we all knew it would happen. So like there was guys that were like literally going around like, I'm not playing this week. Like the coaches are getting fired. Like what's the point of me playing this week? Faking injuries. There's guys faking injuries left and right. There's guys tapping out. They don't want to, like, it was just a really toxic team at the time. And I can't blame Butch Davis for it. All he wanted was for us to succeed. He took care of us. He treated us very well. And I think, I don't know too much about it, but I think it was the people, like, more behind the scenes running the show. You know what I mean? Like, Butch was a good guy. He hired good guys to coach, and he had a very successful career here. It just started towards the end. I think a lot of things didn't work out for him, including that Corona year. That Corona year was BS, man. Like like Corona. Like what's even going on right now? But anyway, that last year with him, it was crazy. I think the only thing I could say was just all the guys wanted to just give up. And there was really nothing the coaches could do because they were done. We all knew they were done, and they were trying to coach guys, and guys were just like, nah. Like, nah, coach. Like no, you don't know. Like you're not even our coach anymore. Like there's guys like calling coaches out, yelling at. It was crazy, but yeah, that was a crazy year, man. It was insane. It was insane. Yeah.
I think it's time for a break, Kevin.
All right, news break.
Let's do it. Pause Up podcast news break. You look at some of the latest FIU topics and just FIU athletics and just FIU in general. So. Start off with FIU women's golf, as it was recently announced by Scott Carr that John Koskinen will become the brand new head coach of the program, taking over the position of Joseph Vogel. Koskinen is no stranger to South Florida, as he was once the head coach of the Miami Hurricanes for 12 years before a recent stint with Barry University. Carr himself said that Koskinen's familiarity with South Florida, his history of success in recruiting, and his ability to lead student-athletes to success on and off the course was why he chose him. Now moving on to men's basketball.
Real fast, can I do a quick shout-out, my friend?
Go for it.
My girlfriend plays on the golf team. I just want to shout her out. Shout out Arlen.
Hey.
And awesome. Good luck to the golf team. And their new coach seems like a great guy. And Coach Vogel, if you're watching this, you're an awesome man.
Shout out, Coach.
He's a great guy. I'm sorry.
No, that was awesome. Moving on to men's basketball, where it was announced that FIU will host Kennesaw State as part of its non-conference schedule for this upcoming season. While the Panthers' full conference schedule has been revealed, we're still waiting to see the full list of non-conference opponents, but this might feel like a conference game, however, as Kennesaw State is set to join Conference USA next year. The Owls join UCF, Miami, Akron, Long Island, Maine, and Utah Tech as the confirmed non-conference opponents so far for basketball. And finally, FIU was recently ranked as a top 20 school in the country by the Washington Monthly's annual College Guide and Rankings, which recognizes universities for both research excellence and their efforts to ensure the success of students of all backgrounds, more specifically social mobility, public service, and research. FIU ranked 19th among all universities, which includes schools such as Harvard and Stanford, and 6th among public universities, and yes, it was ranked the best university in Florida. So that was your look at the news break. So Jackson, I don't think we all really want to spend too much time talking about what we saw last week against Louisiana Tech, but What were some of your biggest takeaways from how that game turned out?
So I had a few takeaways. Firstly, I would like to say that the defense played their butts off. They are a completely different unit than since I've been here. I am I saw them all fall camp, all during the spring, like how they were like becoming like a unit and like just becoming more of a team. And like for a good offense like that, they just got that new transfer from Boise State, Bachmeyer. They got number 6 Smoke Harris. You know that guy, special teams player of the year. He can do anything with the ball in his hands. For them to only hold them to 20-something points, and that last touchdown was just. I mean, they've been out there for 80 plays, you know. Yeah. So things like that are going to happen, and they held them to field goals. Like they played so amazing. I'm so excited to watch them play the rest of the year. Yeah. They're going to be just huge in our success. And I think the game was definitely a shocker. Bad things happened on both ends and on special teams, and it's just how the game's going to go, and whoever makes the least amount of mistakes is going to win, and we happen to make one too many mistakes. What I can say from it is I think it was a huge game that we needed as a team to be like, you know what, we're not invincible, because we came into that game like, we're going to win every game on the schedule. Nobody on the team thinks that we aren't capable of winning out the rest of our games. We have a crazy confidence that we've never had. We've got great coaches behind us, and every single guy on the team is like just we're all like we're holding our heads high. We're ready. We're not the old FIU. We're not going to just give up when things get bad. And I mean that game, I think we needed it as a team, man. I mean, bad things happen, but sometimes you need a game like that, and it's better to happen now than later in the year. So I think it's all fine. I think we ran the ball very, very well. I think we'll be fine passing the ball in the future. I mean, things just happen, man. It's football. Like, crazy stuff happens in football, and I truly believe that we're going to be fine, man. We have great guys in the O-line, great quarterbacks, great tight ends, great running backs. I think it's going to be an exciting year. Yeah. It's going to click. I think we're going to see this Saturday. Everything's going to click, and it's going to be an exciting game at home for the fans to watch.
I do want to ask you about the run game. Shamar Lawrence obviously had the 67-yarder. You and Josiah played a pretty big part in that with blocking. Just take us through that play. It looked like Josiah right at the end was able to kind of open that gap.
Yeah, so Josiah, I like to say he's just a great guy. One of the better friends on the team for me. Me and him are pretty close, and I just respect his game. And he's a very, very good blocker, very good route runner. And he was able to move his guy a lot. I was able to come tight off of his butt, get the backer, and Shamar was just able to hit it right behind us. And I think we're going to see a lot of that this year, especially when we go those 2 tight end sets. There's really not a lot of people that I can see stopping us too. And if you have a back, quick little interruption, if you have a back that knows how to read holes like that and can just hit it and trust us, that's the main thing here, is he trusted that hole. I think we're going to see a lot of this here where he just trusts the hole and he hits it and he's going to go, because he's got great speed. He's super big. He's a strong guy. Nobody's going to tackle him with an arm. I think that the more that we play together, the more games we get under our belt, the more big runs you'll see like that. So for that to happen so early,
First drive.
I think third play.
Yeah, third play.
So I mean, I was running down the field, and I was like, "Whoa, like, this is crazy!" You know, I don't remember the last time we scored on the first drive of a game. You know what I mean? So it was great, and I think we're going to see a lot of that later in the season.
A lot of 2 tight end formation, right? That game.
Yeah, a lot of it, honestly, because I mean, I think Josiah and I proved ourselves that we can not only run routes but also help the run game and help for pass protection sometimes and get out on routes, and we've just done a lot. And and I'm not even speaking on the other tight ends in the room who made it possible for 2 tight end formation, because you can have 2 tight ends, but you can't have confidence running 2 tight end formation because or we call it 12 personnel. A lot of people, most teams call it that. So so you got to have confidence in not only the 2 starting tight ends but the backups as well. So we have Rocky Beers, kind of a wild card, man. Like, he came out of nowhere. He came with Rowdy, obviously. They're fan favorites. They got the great last name. They're great guys. Probably the 2 best human beings that I've ever met in my entire life. They're really stand-up guys. And Rocky's he's a really good tight end, man. He played in the triple option at Air Force. He was like a backup, but he really knows how to block, and he's pretty fast for his size. And he's a really good tight end. And I think the fact that I have him pushing me, and I have Josiah pushing me, just makes me a better guy. And don't let me forget real fast the other tight ends in the room. Christian Pedersen, he's from Louisville. He's really good, dude. he plays the game the right way, if you know what I mean. He's a good guy. And then we got Austin Fitz, true freshman, walk on. I'm kind of trying to take him under my wing. I know what it's like to be in his shoes. So he's a really great guy, and all he wants to do is work. He's going to be good in the future. I'm calling it now. Second or third year, he's going to be a starter. I'm telling you, he's a good guy. Then we obviously got Rowdy Beers, and you obviously got Braden Staten, both two great young freshmen who are going to be really good. So I think that you're going to see a lot of 12 personnel in the future. I know Coach Yost didn't run much 12, but I think now that he's got this room behind him, I think he's going to have a lot of confidence in it, so I'm excited.
One thing for you, I want to know what are some goals you set for yourself this year, especially now getting more opportunities with this offense?
So, yeah, I definitely have set a few goals. It's probably not what you want to hear. It's not like, 5 touchdowns, whatever. I've just played the game long enough to know that it's just a game of, chance and, things just happen fast, and you never know what's going to happen in a game, or whether you're going to have 0 yards or whether you're going to have 150 yards. So I mean, I don't want to put that pressure of having yards or touchdowns or anything on myself, because it's kind of unrealistic, especially it's just football. You never know what happens. But the goals that I do have, I just want to have a much better run game. That's been a goal I've placed in the tight end room. We have to block. We have to be. We have to do our jobs, and then we can look at everybody else. But before we can get our job done, we can't look at anything else. So I want to have a good run game. I want to be at the top of the conference when it comes to rushing yards, because I don't think we've ever done that at FIU. We've kind of been on the back half, and I think that the if you win the battle up front, everything else just opens up, and that's the truth. And I got that from Butch Davis. He taught me that one. He knows what he's talking about. He's been around the game a little while, but definitely the rush offense, and then I got to go to the conference championship, man. I have to. I got to go there, and I think that if we get there, we're gonna win it. We got guys that once we get going, there's no stopping us. You know what I mean? I've seen some crazy things happen in fall camp when guys start to get confidence. So we just got to get one win, and then we can start thinking about the rest. But I definitely want to go to that conference championship and win it. Bowl game for sure. Yeah. Obviously. But definitely those three things. I just want to get the running game good. I want to go to the conference championship and win it, and I got to go to a bowl game, man. Because what's better than December 27th, December 28th? Just at some hotel with the guys. You got a week to just hang out, just talk football. It doesn't get better than that, man. It doesn't.
Bahamas Bowl?
Don't get me started. I've already started thinking about that. But all right. Bahamas Bowl would be nice.
So, I still have yet to finish my preview for this upcoming game versus Maine. So maybe you can help me out here,
okay.
Jackson. What do you know about the Maine Black Bears? Do you think fans should know about? What are some players to look
I think that they are a tough group of guys. They live in Maine, so you got to be a little bit tough living up there. But they got a nice little defense. I don't want to go too in depth with that. I don't want anybody to know what I'm looking at or what I'm not looking at. But what I can say about them is they're not going to just come down here and say, you know what, here's the win. You're an FBS team, whatever. Here's the win. They're a good team, man. They play good teams. They're in a good conference. I think it's called the CAA. I'm not sure. Yeah. It's a decent conference. They got decent teams there. They're definitely going to try to come down here and shock the world. So this might be their Super Bowl. You know what I mean? If I was because I know at FIU when we play Power 5 teams, we're like, wow, this is our Super Bowl. When we play Arkansas later in the year, this is going to be like, wow, this is one of the biggest games we're ever going to play in. We're going to be at Arkansas playing. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure for them this is a big game. So we're not taking them lightly. We're treating them just like any other team. And how I'm scouting and how I'm watching their defense, and I've even watched a little bit of their offense, what I can say is they had an unfortunate season last year, but they were close games. They lost a bunch of games by 2 or 3 points, 4 points. And they're a good team, and we can't take them lightly. So I think that you're going to come here and you're going to see a hard-fought game, but I'm really excited to show a lot of the stuff that we could do on offense that we didn't get to show in the first game.
Yeah, because that's the thing. They were a team the year before last year. They were over 500, 65. Yeah. And then you notice this year's 1-2 point game.
They were, yeah.
Wow.
That's how football goes, man. It's crazy.
There's some talent in that conference. I believe Bryant is a part of that conference, and of course, that was a thriller last year against Bryant. Yeah,
Bryant was a tough game. I think they came out and shocked us. They had a really good D-line unit, including Jack Daly. Now he's here. We stole him.
JT Anderson.
JT Anderson. Yeah, they had a good team, man. They just everything clicked that night for them. But everything clicked that night for us towards the end, and that's all that matters, man. I think that we rallied behind Grayson, and it was awesome, and it was a good night. I'd rather have it be close than just win by 50. That's not fun.
All right, so before we wrap it up, we're going to do a couple rapid-fire questions. And aside from Marathon or Key West, what's the nicest island in the Keys?
Oh, Big Pine Key, Florida. That's where I actually really didn't mention it. I went to school in Sugarloaf, but I grew up in Big Pine, and I moved to Marathon in like 7th grade. But Big Pine is like, if you like to not have people up your butt, you go to Big Pine Key because everybody just minds their own business. Biggest place there is Winn-Dixie, and it's probably the nicest Winn-Dixie I've ever seen, man. They take good care of it, and it's a good little place, man. Big Pine Key, Florida. You ever go to the Keys, you go check that place out. It's pretty nice.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. I mean, so as you were walking in and saw your cup, Flanagan's cup. I saw from the Day in the Life video, big fan of Flanagan's.
There we go.
Yes. So I just got to know, what's the go-to order?
Go-to order was lemon chicken pasta. I had it. I could still eat it every single day of the week, but they got this Chipotle chicken sandwich, man. It's like $10.99. Trust me, I know $10.99. That's not that much, dude. You're paying $10.99 for a sandwich with like these like onion rings on it, this buffalo sauce, this nice chicken breast on it. Like the bread is amazing. And I get like ranch on the side. I love ranch on everything. And then you can get curly fries. You can get whatever you want on the side. I personally get a loaded baked potato. I go loaded baked potato all day. And I get the Flanagan's cup with it too. And you really can't beat it, man. Shout out Flanagan's. I'm like, seriously, anybody watching, if you need somewhere to go get food and you're in Miami and you want to go to Chipotle or Panera Bread or whatever, say whatever, no to that, and take yourself to Flanagan's, spend $11 and get a much better meal. It's the spot, man.
And
My dad,
the cup does it.
the cup does it. I got a nice
yeah.
new cup in my pantry, man. It's nice.
And I want to know for you, what are some hobbies that you have?
Some hobbies, okay.
outside of football?
My number one hobby is I don't want to call it bodybuilding. That's a little cringy, but like I just love to go to the gym, man. Like I'm right after this, I'm gonna go to the gas station. I'm gonna spend $4. I'm gonna buy a C4 energy drink. It's gonna be the C4 Bombsicle. I'm gonna drink it. It's like 200 milligrams of caffeine. It's got others, whatever. And I'm gonna go to the gym for about 2 hours and just hit straight arms because honestly, it's probably the best feeling in the world. Just being in there sweating, just working out and bettering yourself. It's really really, really fun. And I've put a lot of my friends onto it. Tommy Heatherly, I don't know if you remember that punter.
Great punter.
Dude,
Yeah.
That's my best friend. We came in together, and me and him hit it off immediately. We're buddies forever. I always talk to him to this day. He's actually coaching 6-man football right now.
Yeah.
Head coach, athletic director,
Yeah.
he does it all.
Athletic director.
He's got a new house, dude.
Wow.
This guy's made of money, man. He's a great guy. Me and him, that was my lifting partner for a while now. It's Hayden Carlson, the quarterback. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that guy's arms, but they might be 25 inches, dude. He's got a tricep on him. So yeah, but no, those are my buddies. We lift all the time. And then besides lifting, I shouted her out earlier, Arlen Spence. That's my girlfriend. She actually put me on to golfing. I didn't even know what golf was until I started dating her.
Yeah.
And she starts talking about all this stuff at practice. Oh, I hit a birdie, and then I was mad. I had a triple bogey. I'm just like, I don't know what the difference between a bogey and a birdie until I played golf a few times. But no, I like to golf in my free time. Killian, Mondays and Wednesdays. Shout out Killian Green's Golf Course. They're $30 Mondays and Wednesdays. Don't tell too many people, but nobody really knows that. $30 for 18 holes in a golf cart, you really can't beat that. But no, definitely, I'm either at football, I'm either at the gym, or I'm hanging out with my girlfriend or golfing. One of those.
All right, I want to get your thoughts on device unis. Obviously, according to Mr. Grayson James, Mr.
Wow.
Vice, Gene Patterson, and then we saw you guys reveal the gold pants yesterday. So.
Gold pants. Yeah, I'm excited for those. We have a bunch of new stuff. I don't know if I can even say anything on the other stuff that we have, but we have
the decal, the Sun Blazer one.
Okay, yeah. Do you know anything else besides the gold Vice and the Sun Blazer? That's all you know. Okay, we'll keep it there. I'm not going to speak too much, but we got another jersey and pants. That's all I'll say. But no, yeah, the Vice unis are amazing. When they they were revealing all the other stuff, and everyone's like, "This is so great! This is so great!" Like we're all cheering, like, "Wow, we're getting new jerseys!" Then they brought out the Vice unis. Everybody popped. We couldn't get quiet. The coach was trying to talk to us. We're like, no, we're too busy cheering for the Vice unis because everybody had it in the back of their head. Why not just get them? Like, why not just shock the world in some Vice unis? Man. And and honestly, the way they turned out, they're pretty sweet. I mean, I think Sports Illustrated said they were the number one
yeah.
new uniform
yeah.
in college football. I don't remember the last time FIU was number one in anything in college football, but I'll take it when it comes to the uniform. So at least we know we got some swag to us. But we're on the way with other things besides uniforms, but it's a good start, man, and I think it's going to help get recruits here, and I think it's an amazing concept. And finally, someone took advantage of the Miami Vice colors besides the Heat, because, I mean, I don't think UM's done anything with them.
No, they haven't.
So, I mean, I guess we beat you guys to it. Sorry about that, but, yeah, sorry, not sorry.
All right, Johnny, go.
Oh, I was going to ask. I forgot. So we do this every time we get an athlete on, student athlete. If you had to choose, who should be our next guest for this podcast?
Next guest. Okay, I just blew in the mic. But next guest, I'm trying to think.
On the football team.
On the football
I would
team.
say any sport.
Any other?
Yeah.
Girlfriend, maybe golf.
Oh yeah, pick. She would like to do something like this, but if there was somebody to be on the football team, there's a lot of interesting guys. You guys already got Chase Gabriel. I actually live with him. He is a crazy guy. I'll give him that, and that's all I'll say. He's a great guy, though.
Grayson chose him the last time.
Yeah.
Really?
Grayson said, Grayson
He said Chase. That's.
And we're still waiting to get.
Who did Chase say? Do you guys know?
Ooh, I think
Matias.
Lucas.
Lucas?
Yeah.
Yeah, those guys. Those guys are always together. They're buddies. Honestly, a pretty cool guy on the team. I got to think about this one. This is kind of an interesting question. There's a lot of guys on the defense that could be up for it. I think that if you wanted to get somebody really interesting with kind of like a crazier background, you go Willie P. When you hear the name when you hear the name Willie P, everybody pops in the locker room. You know, he's just kind of one of those guys. He kind of just a juice guy. He's actually really, really funny. He can literally just be talking to you. He talks. I actually live with him now. We moved across campus, or right across campus at Lapis, those new apartments, and like I finally moved in with him because we've been friends. And every time I talk to him, I just start laughing because he's so funny. But yeah, if I could pick somebody, I guess I'd say Willie P. Yeah.
You heard it here. We're gonna get him on.
Okay.
So we always like to wrap this up when we have a guest from FIU Athletics. The mic is now yours. I mean, you've had it for most of the episode, but now is your moment to shine. If you have anything you'd like to say to the fans, the alumni, in preparation for Saturday and just the rest of the season, now is the time.
If I could say anything to the fans, it would be just keep showing up, keep supporting. Better things are ahead. I know you've heard it from people from FIU for a long time. But this team's legit. We have a very, very, we probably have the best defense in the conference, in my opinion, based off what I've seen. The defense is amazing. Offense is on its way. We're not far behind because, I mean, who are we going against every single day of practice? We're going against the defense. So if I could say anything to the fans, I'd say, you know what? It's Saturday night. It's 7 o'clock. You want to go to wherever you want to go in Brickell or Wynwood and spend $150, $200. How about you spend no dollars? You come to the game and you support and see how much of a difference you make when you get a big crowd in an FIU football game. Because seriously, it means so much to the players when you guys show up. And you know what? Us football guys, we're not as bad as you think. There's a stereotype that goes around, all this and that. Oh, football guys are lazy and rude and don't care about anything. But no, we care about you guys. We are humans too. We have feelings too, okay? And we love you guys, man. And all we want is for you guys to come out to the game and support. Because is it really not fun when FIU scores a touchdown and everybody goes crazy? It's a great atmosphere to be at, man.
Touchdown, the T-shirt.
Look, and exactly. We got a T-shirt cannon. I mean, I think FIU's got its own beer now or something like that.
Sun Blazer Golden Ale.
There it is. Sun Blazer Golden Ale. Go get you one of those. Obviously, if you're 21. And just come support, man, because, I mean, you can go to the basketball game, you can go to the baseball game, you can go to the soccer game, and they're very fun. Don't get me wrong, I go to all those games as well. But it's nothing like those Saturday night lights, I'll tell you guys that right now. So if you're debating on whether you want to go downtown to Candela or wherever it's called, save your money and come to the FIU football game. You won't regret it.
Spoken like Scott Carr right there, man.
Hey,
that was beautiful.
I mean, Scott's the best, man. He's the
Scott.
best.
Yeah,
shout out
Scott.
Scott. Not Mr. Scott.
All right, Jake, finish it up for us.
All right, well, Jackson, it's been an honor. It's been a pleasure. It's been a crazy day just trying to get this show rolling. First in-person episode of the Paws Up
Let's
podcast.
go.
I think it's been a banger. So thank you so much, Jackson.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
All right.
And as always, Paws up.
Paws up.
Paws up.